I arrived to the end. Hey, Captain. So, as we do Final Day, Trial Ladder 2, which is a bullshit save name convention. Like, no, they couldn't break into the third to let you know. No, they were like, no, it's Trial Former and Trial Ladder 2. Ah, the cowardice. Perfect, exactly enough time between streams for a shower. Oh, that worked out. Still. So I look back, because I number these as I highlight them, right? This final one is going to be the 17th stream, which means this 5th case has been 7 of the 17 streams I've done for this game. And streams 7 through 17 were between this and then the 4th case. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9.
Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand?
Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. But remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief God.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Also, something I should have done earlier, which I finally did. Gant in the fabrication. I did look it up. The DS it wasn't even a remake, I guess re-release, was in fact after the entire first trilogy. So this makes sense how they tried to like clearly shoehorn in some later elements in a sense without having those mechanics. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. She says as she very convincingly looks sadly to the right.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana...
If this is true, then that means Chief God has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you gotta help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
I worked alongside Gant for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. Oh, okay, this is one of those ones where Phoenix says something that he knows they're not gonna... You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. That is fundamentally untrue. But sometimes it's the case. That's one of those things that varies as the game needs it to. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Anna.
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago?
When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dirk? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dirk was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies. With more lies. All just to protect me.
So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Oh yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife inside the wound?
And then you moved the body?
But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You have always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad. Maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? Is it both? Knife, body? Knife, body? Probably... No, it has to be body. Well, maybe not. That's the one I'm going to select, though. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gunn's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Oh yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Doc committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was all ready. Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and the Doc was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle.
I say,
What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Doc convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay. Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Or the broke off tip of Derek's knife high inside the wound and moved the body. Alright. So let's look at some of our evidence. Advent muffler, small tag attached. No, I don't think this is gonna have anything here. Did they ever actually give me the tip of the knife? I think they've showed me pictures of it, but not anything that I've actually had. Hey, Katie. I'm impressed you have even that left. You did have a busy day, but it was a good stream earlier. File fragment found in Chief Gant safe. Staple jar, which had the Emma connection. Threatened her plan. Is it just because, like, why, if it doesn't say Emma, would it threaten her plan? Oh, no, wait a second. No, because something happened to it. Okay, I think I get it. It's because it has writing on it, right? So the writing had to happen then. But she saw it as pieces. So she wouldn't even been able to see what it was, so... Okay. Okay, I think that sounds about right. Okay. I think more so than most of the rest of this first game, too. Probably because this case was after the other ones. These are the ones that have the most, like, it's not... I don't want to say it's not straightforward, because it is. But I feel like a lot of the first cases, it very directly had, like, the thing you had to do. And some of these ones, it's a little bit more work. But who knows? Maybe this is just because I've remembered those ones better than this one, for whatever reason. Miss Sky. They want you to think a little more. Which makes more sense when your game's deep and you know that they have, like, the basics down. versus when it's the very first game. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? Oh, why does she look so cute like this? Ugh. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the juror that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right.
Do you have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Baby Chris, Emma's so cute. Older Chris, but her sister though. Look, clearly what this means is if Persona 5 came out like 10 years ago, maybe I would have liked Makoto more like the rest of you simps. But no, I digress.
Order.
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. Ancient Chris. Oh, that Wendigo back still is a nightmare. Yeah, really. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony.
Jar and message in blood. Ooh. Sorry, I just hit the mic there. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dirk was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case.
Excuse the hell out of you, Judge. I'm sorry, are we not here on the third day of this trial? Is this really a feeble defense case if I've lasted this long? Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Exactly, Phoenix. Screw the judge. You are an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally, I would have. but it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? Emma, I need you to focus. It seems you two might make up yet, though. You know, if I can keep both of you out of jail. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
This is rather shocking.
To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened.
What do you mean?
If you really thought Derek killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. Oh, what else could I have done in that situation? Anna, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. How could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Emergency luminol. But the thing is, if that wasn't an option in D&D, I would probably have a lot of characters that would have it. Like, emergency luminol is just like the next level of having an emergency shovel, right? I never missed anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident.
No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office.
Science investigator MD Oon. I mean, I've already figured out I have to make a doctor disguise for Doman at one point, and that's just Ono MD. Dr. Ono. But I mean, we can also do a different kind of MD, and that's just Oon instead. Or New, or No. I think I've mentioned that one. There's that, and there's like one or two other disguises that I haven't... Like, I have one that I've actually made the token for, but I haven't actually, like, it hasn't come up yet. Because Doman wants to make that disguise himself, and the one time I tried so far... Sorry, I know I'm digressing from the game right now, but I didn't roll good enough. I think even with Echo's inspiration, it was only like a 13 or something, or a 17 maybe, whatever. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Okay. Dark room. Notice the blood traces. They've wiped away the blood. Fragments were large. So I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. We totally got them all. Is that the point they want me to make? The fact that Gant had that one Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think we have anything else that lists like the juror too. We just know that Louie made that. So I'm sure I got them all. Okay. Then I guess it's the juror again. God damn, this awful blue badger juror has been so useful for getting through this trial. But also it sucks and I hate it. Because the one was already taken, yeah. It's weird because the one that was taken is already in that juror, but I guess it's just both of those pieces since it's already in there, so. Miss Sky, I believe this juror conceals a truth even you were unaware of. A what? We found the final piece of this juror in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
Oh, but the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
But why did the defendant have simply missed a piece?
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. Okay. Okay. Let's make this point, but let's also not say anything that's clearly a lie. Because I'm pretty sure Gumshoe could have missed these pieces pretty easily. Like, what have we seen that Gumshoe's already missed? He missed that bottle of sleeping pills on a table, at least, back in the Steel Samurai. There's still one or two other things for sure.
That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I was wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that?
That requires you to believe that Gumshoe is an ace detective. Have you forgotten, Your Honor, that you are blabbering moron? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
Oh, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Jack downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar?
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
No.
The judge is so invested in it not being Gant. Like, how badly has Gant blackmailed you, Judge? What does he have on you? And why, dear old sir, who is really bad at his job, are you so easy to get to, seemingly?
Wait, I'm not the one on trial here.
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Or tampering with a crime scene. But we'll go with fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gant do that?
can't just keep any incompetence charges off the judge. Ooh. Yeah, really. That would be good leverage to have over him. In light of what happened afterwards, is it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dirk, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth.
Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
There's something wrong, Mr. Wright.
Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Emma, please. Please, let me cook. Don't think you're helping and throw in extra salt. I know how much I'm adding. You gotta... Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
All right. The witness may testify once more, for the final time.
Does this mean this case is finally nearing its conclusion? We'll see. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. If it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword.
You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere.
Well, we got this book of evidence law, which at the time I think when we checked it. So, when I checked this earlier, they didn't let you. We didn't go into this menu, right? I just got to read it. I think they're just letting me do this here because they want you to do it in the courtroom. Also, look at this cute little evidence. Like, he's not a penguin, but I still like this like little detective chick right here. Like the detective cap and like his look at the big pipe. That's way too big for him. Pio? Yo, hold up. What is this about? Oh, we opened it. Okay. Detective Peep. Hey, there's a picture here.
Oh my. This is the actual crime scene.
No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Lana's picture inserted into the court record.
Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest. Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? See, this is where I need to have one of those like voice things so I could add the reverb, because I'm definitely not skilled to try to do that at all.
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? Those fingerprints? They're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Alright, actual crime scene. When I arrived, excuse me? Excuse me, sir? I was in the middle of my thing? That's incredibly rude. At least he's just said hold it and not objection. Come now, Aji. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. And I should know. I'm the one who's covered up for all your other poorest excuses I've ever seen.
Chief Grant.
What? Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. Yeah, how does it suck, Gant? How's it feel to know you done goofed, son? You cheated, but you forgot that the cheating had rules attached that you can't cheat out of. Uh-oh. Ooh. Okay. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. See, this is what Edgeworth is really good for. Because, like, Phoenix does have, like, a decent, like, cocky face. And you can tell when he's on a run. But, like, Edgeworth knows how to, like, really own it. Alright. I don't even know how you would do the gugh. Like, go. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. Like, it doesn't just result to fool, 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 or trait, trait, trait. This is true. No, it'll just result to ship, ship, ship. Now, what do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't. But someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves you knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death.
Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. But is this true, Mr. Wright?
I show that piece of evidence now. I was sure to be made out as the murderer. No.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. But if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? Evidence law, though. I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Yeah, does that book even tell us any more about evidence law? But Miss Guy explains the 2 rules of evidence law. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department, which it doesn't have. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. I mean, it is kind of that latter one. But no, I think, you know, evidence law. We have to say we cannot show evidence. Evidence law tells us we can't. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
What? You lie. Chief Guard.
You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Quiet, Emma. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? And you figure it out. Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department.
Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her.
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, you would ask me for my aid.
Okay, but you aren't allowed to make statements. Look, that was like 2 little sections ago. They've already forgotten all about that. So you assisted Miss Sky?
I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe?
But why? For insurance, of course.
Insurance?
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for? A fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Ho, ho, ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they?
Alright, let me add Edgeworth's objection. 232.
That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe?
Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then, before it was too late.
It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Okay. So I think the trick here... Yeah. Okay. Can I show Which I know they say it's that, but it looks like I could do it whichever, and I could still keep going because I have the health for it. Okay. I don't think they wanted me to do this twice in a row. I think it's you get the one time and then you go for it. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes. At last you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather, there must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
Your word.
It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
Oh. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Wright had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... No.
Emma Sky.
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Look, Emma, sometimes a man has to cook. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me.
So it's true. Tragic but true. This girl really did suffer Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you monster?
Where's Sky?
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Sky, it's not over yet. Oh, what? I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. See, this is where Gant definitely fucked up. Because there is no force on heaven or earth. Well, actually, that's not true, in fact. Phoenix does lose his attorney's badge for a while. But Gant is not the one who can do it. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue. Aren't you going to tell us how it feels?
how it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up.
Oh, and what's that?
Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Sky, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. Who kneeled kill Marshall?
What? Contradiction? What is this fool babbling about?
I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. You know, the piece of evidence we just got, so we didn't have until just now. And which I guess Gant probably never saw either.
And what exactly is this supposed to be?
This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it.
Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. During testimony that actually is legally not admissible from earlier, but whatever. We forgot about that point.
No.
It's finally all over. Oh snap.
Ho 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 ho. That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations.
Oh, no one likes a sore loser, Gant.
What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
Order, what nonsense is this?
Legal evidence cannot be used to convict the suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Wright here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Wright-O? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair.
Oh, did you actually think you could best be in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I'm afraid Mr. God's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict the person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright?
It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Which, it's really more Lana's plan because of the book she gave us, but you know.
Mr. Wright, you admit to it. That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Prepare for the silver bullet that is evidence law. For this one single trial where it is conveniently our final trick. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Aji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well. Let us settle this once and for all.
Well, I do think I like Gant overall more than Von Karma. I do think Von Karma... I think the ways Von Karma kind of cheated at the end didn't like have as much of this like bitch desperation that Gant has here, which is always kind of a shame. Like on certain villains, it's not bad. It's kind of nice to see them get all panicky at the end, but for other villains, it's like, oh, come on. Have a little grace and dignity. Oh, the biscuits.
Very well. Let's settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of law, then do so now.
Guys, I think we gotta hit him with the book. From Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Can't going out like Light from Death Note. I mean, he's not that bad, but it is kind of a similar vibe. The thing is with Light, though, Light can own that more because of how insufferable he is. But plus, we had the great like swimming memes out of it and everything too. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law.
What's this?
I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident.
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and...
Sorry, can you recall, when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
Oh. Alright, let me, 235.
He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest?
Oh, yes.
No. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you.
No. No.
I'm not gonna do all those, obviously.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him.
That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. You kind of killed his fucking brother, man.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case.
He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman?
Yeah, that's right.
If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out. The truth. Please, you gotta help me.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then, all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
What kind of... I haven't had to give Goodman a voice. God damn it, game. Why are you doing this to me? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall.
well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor that I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will.
Also, does he? You have a whole frickin' organ in your office, my dude.
I mean, maybe you just have a piece of junk jalopy for your car versus, like, Edgeworth sports car. Leaving the prosecution's car aside. How? The organ belongs to the state. Ah, true.
How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this?
Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker?
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take.
So, you left the jar fragments and the glove?
Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me were the same. Why are you saying court? Because they don't provide us chairs. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Diamond God. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator, but an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Brighto here, and Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. I hear a franchise being born. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years, from the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. Oh my, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. No, in fact, he becomes a hobo. Oh, she looks so cute. Sorry, gotta focus. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. It's not like I like being a prosecutor or anything, but Baka. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. Flustered Edgeworth is also kind of fun.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor?
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Holy shit, though. The mood of this sentence I'm about to read.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already.
No shit.
Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky.
Not guilty. Yay.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Cast the name of God, ye not guilty. Oh, man. It's kind of a shame that because, like, the tech level, you can't really have someone with, like, a good old stake driver in D&D. I could probably, I mean, we're not going to be doing relics for a while, but I could probably get Abby to give me one. I feel like she would fall for that in a mech game. I read that, yeah. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended.
I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. I've just read these, but fine game, do this to me. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. I mean, I wouldn't mind as much if my Lana voice was anywhere near consistent, but...
You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, gumshoe. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective runner all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, line up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. My god. Although I feel like the fact he brought Lana means he's still doing it. Oh, whatever.
Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Ah, Buddy Gumshoe, look at him stretching the law a little bit, doing mildly illegal things, but for the sake of being a nice guy. Emma, I owe you an apology.
It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess.
Sis,
I asked God to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you would react if you knew.
but sis, you were only doing it for me.
No,
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis,
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
but sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
Oh, Emma. Emma. Aww. It's nice when the older and younger sister pair gets to actually stay alive, both of them. Oh, hugs are nice. Oh. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future.
At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Oh, Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. I like the idea that Edgeworth sees an emotional scene and he's just like gonna hide, like, I can't do this. It's they're like touching and feeling and being all up in their like nice emotions and it scares me. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Positivity, no thanks. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. Also, canonically, I stopped doing stuff for the year between this first game and the second game, so I can't, like, actually take a lesson from here. Like, I could kind of have the beginning of it, but, you know, I'm still in that phase where... Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. We're not so different, you and I. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, pop quiz? Sorry, I was kind of zoning out there. Come on, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. It's... No. I always hate this part, because I feel really bad if I get it wrong. Which I think is just because, they expect it to be obvious, and as always in these moments, I like panic and become kind of dumb. The evidence list. The law. I think it's the badge. Which badge do you mean? Like my attorney's badge? That would be kind of appropriate, wouldn't it? The two halves of the picture. Oh, okay.
That does make sense, right? Because Edgeworth had half of it and we got the other half. That makes more sense. It would be really funny though. These should all have an extra option where if it makes it you do your attorney badge, like they give you a fun wrong answer for it. Yeah, I think Dill has a right point here, yeah. The evidence list.
That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this stupid goddamn blue badger thing. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. But in my heart, it's the law. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. I'm going to go zooming away in my sports car now. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know, it seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too.
Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon.
It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Oh, look, it's scientific investigation, but it's with that little chick guy again, like little duck or whatever.
Scientific investigation?
It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well.
Thanks, sis. I will.
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. I don't know, I don't think we ever see Lana again. And Emma's life is not in a good situation when she comes back. It's not a bad situation either, it's just... Like, I don't mind them making new characters, but it would be nice if, like, at least for, like, it would be nice to see Lana again. It'd be nice to see Iris from the third game again. I would love to finally see what Gumshoe looks after 7 years. As for me, I think it's time I start on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go checking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But
I thought you said it was okay.
yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story.
Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh? Also with what money, Gumshoe?
Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, haha. You see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'll be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Objection. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream?
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's fucking go. No.
There we go. Oh, that's fun. They used the whole doing that. Like that.
I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. And then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
Oh, that'd be so cute. Also, we ended at 236 objections if we count the ending, which I just did. And obviously, like, I think 6 of those are from the stupid Blue Badger thing.
Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily.
I like using the fingerprints to do that. It's kind of just a little, it's gimmicky, but you know, I like a decent gimmick sometimes. Oh, fuck, that's gonna do one for Meekins, isn't it? I'm not ready.
My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. He aspires to be Gumshoe.
Also, that was not the voice I had him, but that's fine. It was in the same kind of vicinity. Oh, freaking Meekins. Oh my god. They actually gave the Blue Badger a scene? Those evil geniuses. Like, I guess he earned it. He died! He died! I mean, he just collapsed, but you know. I'm gonna take it. Death becomes him. He was it.
What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Mr. Man just sneaked this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water?
Man, I don't know why I had such a hard time with Marshall. I've just lost the touch.
Looks like we won't be seeing... Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Wright way of lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer's as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
Ugh, good riddance to Angel Star too. Like, I really like this last day. It helps that it mostly leaves out the goober characters.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. But let's say, what was his name again? Mr. Left? But anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? But anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Well, no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go.
Damn it, Judge. How does he get worse with time? Don't you get better as you do things because at least you're getting practice?
Oh shit, it's Maya.
Ah, nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya, afternoon training is about to begin.
Coming. Well, see you around, Nick.
That might have been whoever Pearl's mom, whatever her name is, but I'm not gonna bother with trying to do that. too comfortable not trying hard enough anymore. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, the judge is clearly like, he's gonna have that until he retires, right?
Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
Oh, I actually have to just click on this? Okay. Oh my god, it's an even more baby Emma. Oh, cute. Capcom. Man, I sure hope in Europe she doesn't meet an annoying musician prosecutor who she will not like working with. All right. There we go. That actually took over an hour and a half. But there was some faffing about in there. I did it, yo. Yeah, it is true. I see you are awake later than you should be. But it's been an energizing day. It was a good session of Portobello earlier. But with that, I really should wrap up. Let everyone get to bed. And yeah, it was really fun to revisit this. I do enjoy that final case, especially once it really gets going in the final day. It is very long. As for streams, I'm gonna be coming up like next week. I should be okay for stuff, but after that, it's gonna be a hiatus for a few weeks. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just skip next week too, or maybe I'll just find something to mess around with for a little bit. I haven't decided. But for now, thanks for hanging out with me. It was nice to see that it all concluded. I'm glad that Emma and Lana are happy, even though Lana just does not exist anymore. But you know, maybe one day they'll actually go back and give a lot of these people something at least. Good night. Justice served.